Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee. In this video, I want to talk to you about what has somebody become less curious after enjoying a state of curiosity and wonder. Why do we go back to like the normal stuff? All right, this comes from the forum. Thank you for writing into the forum. If you want to do that, please check the links in the description. You can navigate over there and it helps contribute to me, my work, and my videos. My question is, what are the principles and mechanisms that turn someone away from that state, the state of being in curiosity and wonder, back into the same state of lacking curiosity and even disbelief that such states of curiosity are available to be revisited? And is there a way for this process to support one's way? Is there a way for this process to support one's way into getting what's true about oneself rather than hinder it? Is there a way for this process to support one's way into getting what's true about oneself rather than hinder it? Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to answer your question as to what you're thinking here, and here's some things that I can say about that. One, as far as I can tell, curiosity is something you can train. It's not something that just falls on your ass. It's something you can actually do with your mind. And in fact, I do believe that, and I see evidence for, that people, as far as I can tell, can do a lot more with their minds than they think. You know, curiosity, what is that? Well, it's a state of mind. How do you get curious? I don't know. Do it. Be curious. Ask, start. Let's see. How do you get curious? Well, one of the ways that you can get curious is when you look out at something or perceive some aspect of reality or whatever, is start questioning what it is. And also notice that when we look at things, we immediately know what they are, right? You can actually look at something and notice all of your knowledge about the thing and then take your knowledge away and stare at the object as if like an unknown. And if you do that, you will likely naturally become more curious about it because you stop knowing, in a sense, what it is. Or if you separate your knowledge of the thing from the thing itself and you start focusing on the thing itself, it becomes a bit more open. It becomes a bit more like wondrous in a sense. Like, oh, I can actually start wondering about that thing. I know I'm like checking it out right now. There's a thing over there. I'm doing it. And you can start to enter a state willfully of wonder. You can fucking do that. Now, okay, so you can train it. Wonder about stuff. How do you do that? Well, you wonder about it. Do you know what it is? Do you know everything about that thing that you're seeing? If you strip your knowledge away, what's left? Is there anything, what's there? What's happening? So it's like directing your focus and attention to what you don't know rather than what you know. Because now, a little bit to answer your question here, I think, what's the mechanism that has you go back to not being in wonder? Well, it's the same mechanism, likely, that has you knowing everything. What we would call your survival, or you as a human being rely on knowing what things are, how to relate to things, whether you like it, don't like it. You automatically relate it to like your past and any possible future, and like all that stuff is going on, plus any trauma you might have about things and whatever. It's like it's all automatically occurring. Notice that you have to know everything. You live in a world of known objects. You live in a world of known things, don't you? Like, you have a thought, you know what that is. You have an emotion, there's sadness, there's fear, and it's all known and it's sealed up, and right away you're like, I like it, don't like it, blah, 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 blah. Can you notice that? If you can't notice that and you have a thought about it, notice that you're noticing a thought, and right away about that thought you either kind of like it, don't like it, or kind of about it, right? That's all automatic. It's very fast, and you do that probably a lot more than you notice. But it's your entire reality is that. That's the reality in which we live. Oh, there's breakfast. I want to go eat it. There's a door over there. I'll walk through it. I don't like that. I like this. I want this. I'm afraid of that. You see how that's all mapped out fast? Yeah. that mechanism is the one that has everything be known, which is why we say in workshops, shameless plug, come do a workshop, check the links in the description. You're invited to come do some serious work here. This is why we say in workshops that contemplation goes, in a sense, against the grain. It moves in a different direction than your normal, automatic, self-referencing mind. Because it does not, it wants to get at what things are, not what things are as known, but what they are, whether you know them or not, kind of thing. You see, I know that, I don't know, I know that sounds maybe a little bit strange, but it's kind of like honesty does not support your normal way of doing things. See, because it's oriented toward telling the truth, even if you don't get something out of it, you just boom. And so honesty, again, goes in like the opposite direction of your normal automatic self-mind. And again, this is trainable. We would call contemplation, it's a trainable skill. How do I know? I've trained the fuck out of it. I understand how that goes. You put your attention on something, you wonder about it, you want to know. So the principle that has you knowing things is the principle that reigns king or queen or whatever, okay? That's the one that has you go back to complacency. Shut up, I'm tired of questioning, let me just eat a burger. That sounds good. Drink some whiskey. Great. Go toward that thing, be afraid of that, that stuff, all that stuff. So about that, that answers your question. Now, do it. Train it. It's kind of like when I do martial arts or I do martial stuff, one of the huge aspects that we teach people here in workshops, when we're doing martial arts or body movement stuff, in that domain, body consciousness, whatever, is your mind. What you do with your mind makes a huge difference. And a lot of skills have to be learned by retraining the mind, like how I think about fighting, for example, or how I think about dealing with an incoming force. What I do with my mind is incredibly powerful, and it's usually the primary focus when we're working with people here. See, it's like, what are you doing with your mind? Now, think this way. Now, all that stuff you normally do with your mind, don't do that. Feel this. What you do with your mind is incredibly important, and we have people might switch from thinking to feeling, or from a narrow focused mind to 3D awareness, you see, and then people are practicing training their mind. This is how I know it's possible to train the mind. Even in the realm of experiencing emotions, it's possible to say, here's an emotion, here's how it works, that's what I'm doing with my mind, no thanks, I'll do something else. This is not easy, but doable, okay? Perhaps in the same vein, if you don't want to be lazy, if laziness is a concern, I'm riffing here a little bit, if laziness is a concern, don't do that. Do the thing that isn't lazy. If you want to change that, there's nothing inherently wrong with laziness. It's just lazy. There's nothing inherently good about laziness either. It's just lazy. Whatever that is, it's lazy. Usually it's seen as a negative, but if you don't want lazy, don't be lazy. How do you do that? You do it. See, it's funny how that works. In teaching in workshops, which we just had some workshops, again, check them out, come do some work. In teaching people in workshops, they're like, well, I need to do this, this, and this, or something like that. It's like, well, go fucking do this, this, and this then. How do I do it? You do it because, because when I'm teaching, literally what occurs is I will say to somebody, how do I'll say, do this, and then they do it. Hey, be more enthusiastic, and then they're more enthusiastic. Hey, stop thinking that. Think over here, feel, and then what do? They try to feel, and they do it. And then it changes, They don't need me to say something. There could be a recording of a voice, or they could even think, oh, wait, I can try to feel more. If you want to feel more, feel more. If you want to wonder about an emotion, wonder about an emotion. How do you do that? You do it. You do the best you can and then learn. I was just listening to a Tim Ferriss podcast where he's having I can't remember who was on the show, but it's usually ready, aim, fire, and then I think there's a book out there. It's like ready, fire, aim, and then this other guy is like, well, or you could just fire, and don't, take action on it, which is what I'm saying. And it doesn't need to be mystical. You don't need permission, or another way, I give you my permission. You want to contemplate? You want to be in a state of wonder? Do it. You want to not be lazy? Do it. Be enthusiastic. You want to get shit done? Go do it. There's not that, that is the secret. You don't need to feel a certain way to take action. You just take action. How do I know? Well, I do stuff like that, and I guess part of some of the things is like training martial things helps, because I have to take action regardless of how I'm feeling emotionally. See, or other areas where people have been challenged to, no, you might be scared shitless, but you're going to do the thing. You might be really angry, but you're still going to speak in a calm voice. See, so there's no, if your feelings are getting in the way, just know that it is possible to act and then go do it. Okay, that's the short answer. That's the really long version of the short answer. Nike, just go do it. Or just do it. Now, okay, so what principles or mechanisms that turn somebody away? And then, is there a way for this process to support one's way into getting what's true about oneself rather than hinder it? Well, in terms of getting what's true about you, your mind is the hindrance. Reality, and this may sound weird, is what's in the way. But there's nothing in the way. Because everything you see is something you see. Everything you feel is something you feel. Everything you think is something you think. Everything you perceive on any level in any way, including crazy feeling states of being one with God and one with the universe and universal love and enter the bullshit here, is something you experience. Something that happened to you is something that happened to you. What's the you part? Which is to say, who are you really? Are you the feeling? Well, no, that's something you feel. Are you the thinking? That's something you think. Are you any perception in any way? Well, no, because that's something that you perceived. So then who are you? My point is, what's in the way is, well, everything. But there's nothing in the way at the same time because you're already you. So the only thing that's standing in your way is your lack of consciousness on the matter. So go about getting conscious. Now, how do you do that? Well, we use the main tool we use here is called contemplation, which is like an open wondering with an intent to know and grasp directly, not like a perception, but something we call direct consciousness or direct experience. It's not a perception. It's not you perceiving you. It's you. See, so now about this, like what can help you get who you are better or get conscious of yourself better? Wondering about it can help. And at the same time, if we're talking direct consciousness, it doesn't help. You need a breakthrough. You need to have an insight, a direct consciousness on the matter, a sudden realization on the nature of you. Who you are, what you are, whatever. What's in the way? Everything's in the way. A way that you can consider, or a way that you can discover this is if you do lots of contemplation, you'll start to realize, oh, here I go with my mind again. You make a distinction between you and your mind, and that can be helpful. And then you get, wait, I'm not my mind, and mind is everything, in a sense. See, it's all things here that you see. How do you perceive that? As if it's like mind. Or it could be called mind. We could say it that way. And still, no matter what I do with my mind can never get me conscious. because that's not what mind does. Your mind is really good at running you, at doing survival, at surviving the life that you think you live, and what you want, don't want. That's its job. Its job you can't answer that question with mind. And yet, I stand on the possibility you can become conscious. So what helps with that? Again, just contemplate, wonder, want to know, and be open while you do that. And that'll give you your best chance of having a breakthrough. All right? So thanks for writing in. Yeah, in terms of your challenges, I understand. Keep going. And consider taking the fast route regarding being lazy or not feeling motivated, or if you slip off of it, I was contemplating, I was wondering, and now I'm back to this normal stuff. Well, contemplate again. Strengthen your ability to do that. How do you do that? Do it again. And then I fantasize. I don't know anybody that's ever fantasized a lot in contemplation. Do it again. Master your mind so that your mind does what you tell it to do, not what it tells itself to do, which is actually you telling it to do something so many times it becomes automatic, and then it's just like a knee-jerk reaction thing. You can start to control it. So then you stay focused, and something tries to unfocus you, boom, you're right back on it. And the more you do that, the easier it'll get, like building a muscle. Yeah? And that's a possibility. And it takes work. So go ahead and get to work. All right, that's it for the video. I hope that answered your question. Let me know if it didn't. Write me in the comments for the algorithm, whatever. Come down here and do a workshop. Check the links in the description. I do monthly calls. I do private coaching. I also do workshops. That's the main thing. Like if you want to get the most out of working the work that you're trying to do in these domains, come do a workshop. Those make the biggest difference. You could also do an apprenticeship program, but that's for crazy people or people who are really serious and really committed. But of course, you're invited to do that. Cool. All right. Thank you. Bye.